I'm going to go over the benefits of them, the recommended dosages, and some of the side effects you should be conscious of. Number one would be phenylpiracetam. And this would be my favorite of the three, specifically because of how strong it is. What it's going to do for you is it's going to increase your concentration, it's going to increase your energy levels, and it will help you to beat your social anxiety if you have any. You'll just find that you're not only willing to engage in more conversations, but during conversations, you don't have any anxiety as far as what do I say next, or is this conversation a little bit uncomfortable? You're just able to connect with people in a very profound way. That's what makes this very special. I wouldn't say it's something that students would necessarily find as much of a benefit for. Although for me, I'm personally in sales. I do a lot of networking. I'm having to have conversations with people repetitively. I'm talking to 20, 30 people per day, and I really like phenylpiracetam. Something very interesting about it is that it lasts the whole day. It's something you just ingest once, and you're getting the benefits from for at least 8 hours. That's my experience anyway. With phenylpiracetam, it has some similarities to modafinil in that you're able just to concentrate for a much longer period. Like if you're somebody that typically gets fatigued or you lose concentration from your work after like 2 hours, you'll be able to go a lot longer. So because of that, you do have to just make these conscious reminders that I should take a break. It's good to take a break. Like if you're somebody that works behind a computer, you just have to pause sometimes and get up and take a walk instead of sitting down all day. So phenylpiracetam can make that difficult to do because you're so engaged in your work, you're focused, you're enjoying it. And I found like my perspective of a lot of my work just changes. There are activities in my work which I don't enjoy, but under the influence of phenylpiracetam, I just enjoy them more, as it has this really neat ability just to improve your mood. As far as the dosage is concerned, I would recommend that you do start off as small as 50 milligrams, which would require you to purchase it in the powdered form. I do have both of them. I have them in the powdered form and the capsule form. I do like the powder better myself, as I can just be more controlling of the dose. You have to get a milligram scale, but believe me, it's worth it, because there are some days when I do not want to go as high as 100 milligrams, which isn't too much. That seems to be like the recommended dose, as I purchased this, and this is the same product in 90 capsules of 100 milligrams each. But for me, after testing and trying this and knowing what works, depending on the day, I'll typically take between 80 milligrams to 120 milligrams, and I'll take it first thing in the morning with some water. Side effects you should be conscious of is just that you'll be so engaged in your work that again, you'll forget other tasks. You'll find yourself fairly imbalanced. I wouldn't take this every day because I'll neglect my social life. I'll neglect hobbies, which typically bring me joy and just help me to be human as far as my emotional intelligence is concerned. You do just become this like robot that wants to be productive all the time and make the best use of their time. Other thing though, similar to other stimulants like Adderall, like Concerta, like Ritalin, is with phenylpiracetam, you should not take it every day. There are a lot of reports of people who have gone taking phenylpiracetam for many, many days in a row, and consequently they get off and they have withdrawals. I haven't experienced withdrawals with it, but there are some days when I question, like, if I take it maybe 5 days straight and just weekends off, is my word recall a little bit worse? Is my memory a bit slower? Am I just a bit more brain fogged? And it's so that it could be the case, but if it is, then it's negligible. I do a lot of reading about other users' experiences, and a lot of people who have like taken it for a month in a row every single day do report feeling withdrawals afterwards, whereas you experience like a little bit of brain fog, a little bit of social anxiety, and worse recall with your long-term memory and your short-term memory. However, for me, my experience, I haven't taken it consecutive days for longer than 2 weeks. It was my experience then. I experienced like a little bit of withdrawals, but nothing to be too concerned about. For me, I'm taking phenylpiracetam only maybe 2 times a week just because it is so strong. I don't always need it. And with phenylpiracetam, you'll find that it is just so stimulating that you'll be better off lowering the amount of caffeine you take. I'm usually taking between 300 to 400 milligrams caffeine, but I typically do cut down on days I'm taking phenylpiracetam. I just don't need it, number one, and secondly, I don't like that feeling of being overstimulated. Alright, and the second nootropic that will help you to live life fearlessly is L-Tyrosine, which is an amino acid. It's found abundantly in things like chicken breast or egg whites, but it can do some magical things taken free form, meaning taken on an empty stomach, or just taken when it's not in the presence of competing amino acids. So if it's been maybe 2 hours since your last meal and you pop a pill of L-Tyrosine, it can do some wonderful things. You'll find that it'll stimulate you, and what I typically use it for is energy, for endurance, and to help to fight fatigue. Specifically at like the end of the workday, when your concentration is low, when you don't want to do your work, but there are tasks that need being done, I pop a pill of L-Tyrosine and I'm good for at least like 90 minutes. I can get 90 minutes of good work done where I'm in state, where my concentration is high, and I'm in a great mood. So for that reason, I like L-Tyrosine. So if you're looking for more energy to help fight fatigue and to help you again with social anxiety, this is a really, really neat tool, and I as well do like it pre-workout. There's a lot of studies which show that when you mix L-Tyrosine with caffeine, they work synergistically and can help you with your workouts to achieve better power output and to increase your aerobic capacity, meaning just endure longer when it comes to cardio. If you're on the treadmill or if you're on a stair climber, you just last a lot longer there. So for that reason, I have it in not only the capsule form, but the powder form as well, as the typical capsules are like 500 milligrams to 750 milligrams, which I would recommend if you're using it for the purpose of like studying or for focusing. But if you're somebody that's using it for like a pre-workout where it has a very good use, then you're better off buying it in the powder form. It's less expensive, and with L-Tyrosine, it's just such that it's tasteless. You can take it in higher doses. Like I'll take typically 1 gram to 1.5 grams, as that seems to be the sweet spot to have the best workouts, and it can do some great things in terms of fat loss and appetite suppression as well. So I would highly recommend that you do check out L-Tyrosine. And the great thing, there are no side effects, or not that I've found, and not that I've found that other users have experienced. If anything, you just find that you're a better person on L-Tyrosine, so when it washes out of your system, you're just a bit, man, I want some L-Tyrosine, or why didn't it last longer? Because what's so is with L-Tyrosine, unfortunately, it doesn't last very long. It lasts 2 hours max. So what happens is during that 2 hours, you feel great. You feel like you're fully engaged in your work. Your concentration is high, but then afterwards it just wears off, which means you have to take it several times per day if you choose to. But me, I'm only taking it maybe once or twice per day. And the third nootropic that will help you to live life fearlessly is Noopept. If you're unfamiliar with it, it can really help you to improve your focus, improve your concentration, energy levels, and motivation. I found that a lot of people ask me, Mike, what are some of the best nootropics when it comes for motivation? And yes, there are stimulants, there's things like caffeine, there's things like pre-workout supplements, but Noopept can do all that without stimulating you so much physically and mentally. What so is with Noopept, this is the powder form. You can dose it as small as like 5 milligrams to 10 milligrams to even get the benefit. There are capsules which are most commonly taken because the dose is just so damn small. However, I take it in the powder form just because, little secret for you, if you put Noopept under your tongue, there are reports that it is more efficient and you're able to get a better use out of it. So this is the powdered form. Unfortunately, with doses as small as like 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams, you not only have to get a milligram scale, but you have to be like very precise, like extremely precise about dosing it correctly. Again, what it's going to do is somewhat similar to phenylpiracetam in the way I described it. However, it's just for a shorter time. So it has a very acute effect, something like 2 to 3 hours, where you'll take it and it can do this funny thing where like my priorities immediately come top of mind. I just shift my perspective and just have the right judgment as far as what is the most important thing to get done. And boom, I have the energy and I have the focus and the motivation to go for it. If you're familiar with the Racetems like piracetam, oxiracetam, or aniracetam, it works similarly that way, but it's just a lot stronger. And because of that, I do recommend that you cycle it. I enjoy taking it like for 3 weeks on or 1 week off. Some people do like weekdays on or weekends off, which can work easily just with your schedule and coordinating things. It's a great supplement, and you know that Noopept is an amazing nootropic based on the fact that this was popular maybe 10 years ago, and it is still popular. There's still lots of demand, and people are having very profound experiences with it. It's also neat that it doesn't have any side effects you should be concerned about unless you're taking it in very high dosages. There was a point where I was taking like 50 to 70 milligrams every single day, and when I got off of it, I noticed that my energy levels were a lot worse, my motivation was worse, and that got me thinking, wow, Noopept was actually more powerful than I thought. However, I don't want to experience this feeling I get without Noopept. So that was what I discovered. It's important just to dose it properly and make sure that I'm cycling it to get the best use. Because that is like a high dose, that's considered like an attack dose. If you're new to it, I'd recommend you just start off with something like 10 milligrams 2 to 3 times per day, once in the morning, once in the early afternoon, and then once in like the late afternoon, early evening. However, this will not interfere with your sleep, nor will L-Tyrosine, although phenylpiracetam is something where you do want to make sure you're having it like within the first 6 hours of your day. Otherwise, it'll just make it harder for you to fall asleep, or it'll be more difficult to achieve those levels of deep sleep which you want. If you take it too late, it'll either prevent you from falling asleep, or it'll interfere with your sleep to the point where you'll find it difficult to achieve those levels of deep sleep, which you want for memory consolidation and for overall like physical and mental recovery. I hope you all found this helpful. Other than these nootropics, there are some I can recommend that may as well help. Things like modafinil if used strategically, armodafinil, and I really like the adaptogens, things like rhodiola rosea, bacopa, ashwagandha, the KSM-66. However, I didn't include those nootropics in this video just because I find that they are better tools when it comes to fighting fatigue. However, when we're talking about the context of like living life fearlessly, a lot of it has to do with focus, it has to do with habits and reconstructing your habits or like modifying any habits you have from the past. Kind of like forgetting any past memories that may be holding you back, living life more optimistically and living life a lot more courageously. And otherwise, be sure to subscribe. These are 3 nootropics that I've found have really helped me. They can likely help you too. If you do take them, just know to take responsibly. Start off with the lower doses. And hey, I'm here. If you have any questions about anything pertaining to the nootropics that I've discussed or any nootropics otherwise, then feel free to drop a comment. I really appreciate the feedback, and I do try to respond to everyone within like 24 hours or so. It's Michael Dougal, and I will look forward to seeing you all next time.